Welcome back to the channel. My name is A-Bomb and we are back with some more Football Manager 2019 and Chelsea. Now, a bit of a decision I did make is that I have started a brand new save and I've changed my manager so that I do now have the best stats available to me. If we have a look at my profile, I now changed myself to become a pro footballer at a global level. So that has given me the best attributes I can get on the right hand side. So I've got the best attributes I can get on either side, and I've made myself a motivator. So I've got 20 motivating, I've got high determination, I've got high tactical knowledge, I've got good man management. That's the important stuff, I think. Pre-season friendlies are different, so we now have a tour of China, and we have a friendly cup where we first face Leicester before we have our Community Shield game against Man City, which will be next episode. So the first thing we're going to do is introduce ourselves to our squad. We're going to go for a passionate team talk and say, I think we can qualify for the Champions League this season, and they 100% agree with that. I don't think we need to push for a title challenge this year. I think it's just getting back into the top four is the important thing. So let's have a look at our squad then. So let's start with the two senior goalkeepers. Now, the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, Kepa Arrizabalaga. We're just going to go with Kepa. I can pronounce the name, but we are just going to go with Kepa. £71 million from Athletic Bilbao. And he's going to be the first choice goalkeeper. There's no other way of saying it, really. Caballero, I think, will be a backup. 36 years old now. You know, he's going to be here this season. His contract expires at the end. Once that's up, I think he'll go. I don't think we're going to get much money for him. Not enough to actually make a difference anyway. So I think for this season, he'll be a backup. He might play in a cup game or two. I'm not quite sure. It depends who we get in those cup games. He's capable. It's 2.5 star. So looking at the centre-backs now, I've mentioned Gary Cahill before. His contract is also up at the end of the season, and I can't see myself renewing it. He's 32. So we're going to transfer list him right now. We'll set an asking price of 10 million. Might be a bit optimistic, but let's do it. Kurt Zouma is on loan at Everton at the moment. I think when he comes back, again, he can be a useful player at centre-back. He's got good potential at 4 star. I don't know how long that will last for, though. I'm not sure when that potential will stop. But Kurt Zouma, when he comes back, I think he should be given a fair chance. Antonio Rudiger, a no-nonsense centre-back. They essentially are replacing the defensive centre-backs, or the limited centre-backs as they used to be called. 25 years old. Tackling the 16's good. He's very brave. Determined, physically very strong. He's pretty good in the air as well, so he could be a useful centre-back, I think. He is wanted, though. Who is he wanted by? Bayern want him for a transfer, so that might be a bit of an issue. David Luiz can also fit in at centre-back. David Luiz has sort of played as a defensive midfielder in the past, sort of 2010, 2011, under like Ancelotti, and I think, was it Villas-Boas who used to manage them in that time as well? But he's a centre-back. That's where I'm looking to be playing him. We've got Andreas Christensen, who, again, is very much in the vein of Rudiger and Zouma in terms of ability. I think we need, like, a proper 4-star centre-back. If we do sell Gary Cahill, I think we're going to have to get, like, a really good centre-back in. But these guys, they're good enough for now. I think, you know, for now, they can do a job. And Christensen played a few league games last year. He's all right. Moving on to fullbacks and wing-backs, you've got David Zabacosta, who didn't play that much last year, I think. 22 appearances, apparently. Right wing-back. I think you've got Azpilicueta can sort of play out there. You've got Moses out there. I think Zabacosta, not really sure why Chelsea signed him. How much was it? 24.5 million. I don't know if I'm going to use him or not, honestly. I'll keep him here for now, but I think we've got a lot of people that could play like right-back or right wing-back. And also, I forgot to mention this, you will notice that I do now have badges and faces installed, and as always, I get those from Sort It Out SI every single year, so you can find their link to the license fixes, the face packs, and the logos down below. I haven't added kits yet, but I might do that down the road some point. I might do that in a few days' time. Important thing is, for the beta, there won't be a graphics folder in your Football Manager files on my documents. So when you go to my documents, Sports Interactive and Football Manager 2019, you need to create a new folder called graphics, and then you can move the files into that, and then you have to extract them to that folder there. That's how you get your face packs, and then make sure to clear the cache once you've done that. I will show you this very quickly if there's anyone who hasn't done this. Go to Preferences, go to Interface, and then make sure that you have used caching to decrease page loading times ticked, and the same with reload skins when confirming changes in preference. Make sure you have those ticked, and you should get your face packs and your logos in there, and kits if you've got them, and license fixes. I've been getting my face packs from Sort It Out SI since like FM15. They've always been brilliant. They're like cut out faces. and you can't really tell what shirts they're wearing, so if they're out of date, it doesn't matter too much. So, yeah, I always get them from there. They're brilliant, so definitely go and get your stuff from there because they're really good. Emerson, I think, was he a January signing last season? He was. He played 5 appearances. He's a left wing back. He's 3-star. He's got a little bit of potential, but not too much. He actually looks quite good, you know, technically. Good dribbling, good first touch, physically very pacey. I think he can be a good wing back and a good sort of backup to Marcos Alonso. Speaking of Marcos Alonso, how many goals did he score last year? 7 goals? Yeah. He's a wing back. The game doesn't really give him what he deserves, technically. He's good in the air, and there's some 13s and 14s in there, but I think he should be better than that. He's wanted by Man United as well. £49.5 million value. We could cash in on that, because I don't think Alonso in this game looks as good as he's looked in real life. Cesar Azpilicueta's a tricky one, because he plays centre-back, he can play right-back, he can play right wing-back, but not particularly well, and that's where I'd like to play him. So that's a bit of a tricky one for me. He's 3-star, he's 28, of course, a few caps for Spain, wanted by Barcelona, so I think we're going to get a lot of transfer requests very early on here. Victor Moses has kind of changed from a winger to a wing-back in recent years. Of course, he's played for Liverpool and Stoke in the past on loans. He's back permanently with Chelsea now. He is transfer listed. He's got 2.5 stars, so seen as surplus to requirements, I think. Important player in his prime years, though, 27. Not a bad wing-back, actually. He's okay. 14 dribbling, long throws are decent. Decisions are alright, very good work rate, physically very good, still got a bit of pace about him. Kovacic is on loan from Real Madrid, a central midfielder, deep line playmaker or advanced playmaker or Mazzala. I think one of those can be very beneficial. 17s for first touch passing and technique. I think Kovacic could be like an actual star in that midfield, and if we can, we'll try and get him permanently from Madrid, I think, because he can be really good. He looks really good. Jorginho, one of the signings this year, come from Napoli. A very similar player to Kovacic. I think it'll be either one or the other, and I think one will be sort of substitute bench, one will be starting. £50 million though. I feel like this guy should start, but then Kovacic look really good. Both of these players look really good, and I'm going to struggle to get them both into the team. I think one of them will have to sit out. N'Golo Kante, defensive midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, doesn't really have a role that he's absolutely perfect in. His best role seems to be a box-to-box midfielder, so it would make sense to play those two midfielders, one as a playmaker, one as a box-to-box midfielder. That's pretty much a no-brainer. But N'Golo Kante, 20 tackling, 20 teamwork, 20 work rate, 20 stamina, and other stats in there as well, which are really good. You've got the concentration, you've got positioning, pace, strength. Bakayoko is on loan at AC Milan this year. He's got the 4-star potential, so again, a player that for now is okay. When he comes back, I think we'll give him a go and then see what he's made of. Why did Chelsea sign Danny Drinkwater? Just why? £27 million from Champions Leicester. Why did they sign him? And £100,000 a week as well. I don't want that hole in my wage budget. He's going. He's absolutely going. I think the same could be said for Fabregas as well. I think we need to cash in on Fabregas. He's got a year left in his contract. I don't think he's going to be starting, so he's not going to be happy about it either. So I think we need to sell Fabregas. I think Ross Barkley can be of use to us for this season at least. That central attacking midfielder as an attacking midfielder or a shadow striker in that number 10 slot. I think he can be of use to us this season. I think Hazard will mainly be playing in that central role, or maybe someone like Willian or Pedro. But I think Ross Barkley can be of use to us this season, definitely. Now, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I've got a lot of time for. I think he's a very good player. And you know what? He had some good performances for Palace last season. It was a little bit marred by injury, but he did pretty well for them last season. And while he doesn't look like much on this game in terms of ability, I think he can be a decent sort of, maybe not fringe player, but like a good squad player. And then you start to get into the proper attacking players, like the front three players. You've got Willian out on that right wing. Not a position that I'm not sure that I'll be playing. So I think if he plays, he'll be in that sort of central role, advanced playmaker. But 4-star, he's been at Chelsea for a number of years now, and he's been a very solid player. I think an unsung hero for Chelsea has been Willian. 30-year-old Pedro, 3.5-star current ability, looks pretty good. He's wanted by Man United and by Paris Saint-Germain. If they offer unreal money, then maybe he can go, but I didn't realise he'd have been at Chelsea for that long. Again, Pedro, we'll see what we can do with him. He's only got a year left though, so he's going to have to prove himself if he wants to stick around. Eden Hazard, well, what can I say? The best player in the Premier League. Another person that supports a team that has Mohamed Salah, that has like Sadio Mane, that has some incredible players, but Hazard is just unreal. I mean, I want to keep him for a while, but if I get a value of like, if I get an offer of like 100 million above, I might have to accept it. It might be worth more than that. How much do you think Hazard's worth? He's the best player in the Premier League. I think you've got to be paying 150 million for Hazard if you're going to buy him. And I don't know if the game will have stuff like that. I know they have Unreal transfers now. Batshuayi is a tricky one. He's at a good level, actually. He can be decent for us. He's got on loan at the moment with Valencia. He did pretty well for Dortmund last season, sort of half of last season. I think he went there, didn't he? And he got 7 goals in 10 for them. That's decent. I think he can do well. And if he comes back, from, like I said, if he comes back from Valencia and he's still at a good level, I think next year he can be of use to us. Giroud can be a good option. I don't think he's going to start, but you know what? He's a big sort of target man sort of player. I think if we go for like a crossing sort of style, if we sort of don't really work with our sort of vertical tiki-taka, if we go to something else, I think Giroud can be useful. But 3 stars, I think we'll give him this season. We'll see what he's made of. He has only got a year left though, so again, he's going to have to prove himself if he wants to stick around, but he might go as well. Some of these players on their last year, they've got to work, or they're going to be going, and that might mean a January sale. Otherwise, they're going for nothing. And then lastly, we've got Alvaro Murata. 3.5 star current ability, a little bit of potential. £58 million for Real Madrid, 11 goals last year. I'd say that's disappointing for someone that you've paid almost £60 million for. And Murata, like I think used correctly, Murata can be brilliant, but you've got to use him correctly. So that's the first team. Let's see who we've got in the reserves. Anyone interesting here? Ethan Ampadu is going to be one to look out for. 17-year-old, sort of defensive midfielder, maybe as a centre-back. I think Ampadu, given the right sort of tutoring and given the right love, I think Ampadu could be brilliant, but you're going to have to use him properly. Tackling's very good, very brave. He's still got a lot of work to do, though. I think he's the only sort of real wonder kid that we have. You've got some interesting prospects in guys like Ola Aina. We've got Trevor Shaloba, Tammy Abraham. These guys are okay. Like Abraham, he's at a decent level now and he's on loan at Villa. And then in the under-18s, again, there's only 1 or 2 really. Callum Hudson-Odoi is one to look out for, 4.5 star potential. He's 17, 15 dribbling. He's already very pacey. I think Hudson-Odoi, long-term, can be really good. So, again, we'll have to try and watch how we use him. That's it, really. Apart from maybe the Sean Reedon and, I don't know, maybe Enduring, there's not a lot else, really. So, I really think the loan system at Chelsea just doesn't work because these guys aren't really coming back any good. Sending them out on loan to Belgium or wherever they go, I don't think it really suits them. I don't know if it's the travelling, if it's the playing abroad. I don't think it really works. And I think this is proof that these guys aren't really coming back with any sort of potential and they're not really realising that. So I think maybe a bit of a reassessment of Chelsea's loan system needs to be undertaken. Okay, so this is what our team looks like. I think it looks, for a Chelsea team, it's all right. I think it could be better, but I think it could be a lot worse. So we've got, you know, Hazard going to be key. Kante and Jorginho and Kovacic, you know, midfield's going to be pretty stacked. Murata up front is okay if we use him correctly, like I said. Defence-wise, I think that's where we need the most work. I think we've got some solid defenders, but I think we can definitely improve on them over the next sort of couple of seasons. We've got our first press conference, so we've got some notable journalists in attendance. Likely talking points, I like that. I'll tell you what sort of questions you can expect. Okay, so it looks like we are actually in a press room as well now. That's quite cool to see. Questions remaining in the top right, so it will tell you sort of what sort of length of press conference you can expect. It might just be 1 or 2 questions, might be as many as like 7 or 8. As we progress, we'll see how far it goes down. So we'll go for a passionate team talk and say, can't wait to get stuck in at Chelsea. So there's a long way to go, it seems. That's one question and it's barely moved. So we're going to expect a good number of questions here. Alright then, so we're going to have our first look at the match engine. Chelsea under-23s, intra-squad friendly. We'll have a look at what we've got here. So, this is the formation that I was looking at. It was previously a 5-2-1-2. It's now a 5-2-2-1. Now, we've got a lot of players that are still on holiday that won't be back for another month or so because obviously they've been on international duty maybe. The World Cup's still going on. So that's a bit of a pain. We're going to have to do a quick pick and then just see what it gives us. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Alright, I don't think this is too much about actually trying to work our tactic. I think this is going to be about just trying to put out a team, because we've got so many players that are unavailable. It's ridiculous. We've managed to get a team out. It is an absolute mess. So mentality, this is very different. Standard is now balanced. Control is now positive. Overload is now very attacking. While counter is now cautious. And contain is now very defensive. So that's obviously very different. I think we'll leave this as it is. You know what? I really don't know at this point. Concentrate on building up fitness and performance, I'm going to say. We'll kick off and we'll have a look at this match engine. So let's get it how I like it. TV cameras, key highlights, replays on behind goal. And the match speed between the highlights will have it very fast. I'll have a look at the match speed. I think it will be about okay. Notifications for as long as we can. That's fine. Turn off the sounds. Tactics now up here. I'd rather have that back because I really found that useful. But they're now all there. Analysis is there. Stats are there. And then you can make your subs there. You can change your tactics. You've got balance there. You've got your team instructions here. Opposition instructions. Your shouts are here. I've already done a shout. I didn't really want to do that. You can shout for specific players. You've got your widgets there. Okay, so I know where everything is. Most of it's not too different. I would like to have the little box there that had the shape and the mentality in that, but that's no longer there. We're going to speed this up a little bit. Not too much though. Alright, let's actually watch some football now. I've played with all my sort of stuff. Let's see what happens. And straight away, there's been a tackle and it's gone out for a throw. Okay, so when I didn't encourage shout straight away, and Danny Drinkwater was fired up by the feedback. So now you get body language after you've done a shout. That's something that's been introduced. And then now again, that's disappeared. So that's expected. Let's go to a more positive style. Let's see what happens now. We have got lots of possession at the moment. We have got a couple of shots on target. No goals yet though. Obviously as well. You can see when the manager just shouts as well. You can never see that before, but you tend to know now because their players get fired up by the feedback as well. Free kick here for Pedro, a little bit far away. We've won a penalty. I want to try and zoom that in a little bit. It's very far away. It looks very different, I think. David Luiz is taking the penalty. That's probably not wise, but he scored it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It was a good penalty, to be fair. Cuts inside. He is the inside forward. He will do that. Drinkwater. Oh my god. Okay, so Danny Drinkwater. I said, why did Chelsea sign him? He's just scored a 30-yarder. Oh my god. Pedro cutting inside, and then just sort of lays it off for Drinkwater. Oh, look at the curl on that. It's an intra-squad friendly. I doubt we'll see a better goal than that this season. That was insane. Alright, Danny Drinkwater. Everything I said, I take it back. So we're 2-0 up. We're about 40 minutes into the game. Ross Barkley in possession. Here's Field. One of the fake players. One of the greyed out players. Jorginho. Barkley. Looks for Murata, but it's headed forward by Ampadu. Here's Lamptey to Gilmore. And Barkley with a great sliding tackle. Winning the ball back. And still got it. Finds Murata. And Murata out wide for Zappacosta. Pedro now. Pedro cuts it across for Murata. And it's crawled over the line. And it's 3-0. Doesn't look like we're going to have too much defending to do. So having those greyed out players in defence and in goal doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. Murata bundles it into the goal. He was brought down by, I think it was Ampadu, I'm not sure. And support ratings now turn red once it gets to a certain level, in the same way that good ratings turn green, and they turn a better shade of green if it gets to like 8.0. That's cool. Again, that's something that we've not really seen yet. So Danny Drinkwater's got an 8.2, so he's got a nice solid green. Got some nice sort of minty greens in defence, and Murata up top as well. I like that. It's good. You can tell when players are really not performing and when they're doing really well, like our players. I just said no pressure, and guys are overwhelmed by the feedback. So I think that tells us we're maybe doing a little bit too much. David Luiz with a free kick, and he just bends it wide. And Zappacosta's picked up a knock. That's not what we wanted. Do we have anyone that could play right wing back on the bench? Emerson can sort of. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, they're now frustrated. I think we're doing too many shouts. I think that's what I'm getting here. And the reserves have scored, and it was a Barkley own goal. That looked like a powerful header. I want to see this again in 3D. It was a Lucas Piazon with the corner, and Barkley is just bounced off Barkley's head into the goal. That's hilarious. Gonna change one of my midfielders. We're gonna get off Jorginho and bring on Fabregas. We're going to get a couple more of these fake players on, I think, just to try and keep it fresh. We'll go for Woodland as like a winger. The whistle about to blow, I think. Drinkwater to Woodard, and there might be a late goal here. Murata chasing it down, and that's all over, and it's 3-1, and, well, that's my first taste of a match in FM19, and I'm impressed. There's some things that I would change, but there's a lot of new stuff. I like the green ratings. I like the reactions to the shouts. I would just wish that they'd have this bar at the top here that had your shape and your mentality. I think it was a lot easier than bringing down the tactics menu. I just feel like that was just one less button to click, but that's me being fussy. So Azabacosta has picked up a little bit of an injury after that, so he might be a bit of a doubt for the Tianjin game. I think he'll still travel though, so he can play in some of the other matches. But I think he might be okay. He might be able to make it in time. I'm going to leave it there, guys. We've seen a match. We've had a look at the squad. I don't want this video to get too long. So, yeah, we are going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, do drop a like down below. Leave comments. If you want to see videos as and when they turn up on YouTube, do hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to receive updates if I upload or go live. Follow me on social media so you don't miss any of my content. I'll see you next episode where we will have finished our little tour of China. And next time we meet, we're going to play the Community Shield against Man City. We'll see if there's any transfers been made. And we'll see where we stand once we get to some competitive matches. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.